generational warfare involved in this budget. I mean, this from the former Treasurer who dropped the debt bomb. I mean, from his hand came the budgets that left us in this precarious mess. It's the Labor government that spent ourselves into the fastest decline in debt of any OECD country by percentage point. I mean, these were spenders who never saw a cause they didn't fund, and then they funded everything they saw, bought every vote they could until they could buy no more votes. And to hear him now talking about intergenerational warfare is truly disappointing. Now let's remember where the scene of the crime was. I mean, it was the MYEFO 2008 in late August that predicted there could be at least a 5% gouge out of our GDP as a result of the global economic crisis. But within 6 months, Treasury revised those figures down, saying that we were unlikely to even see a single quarter of deficit or recession. At that point, it was Wayne Swan who did not cease spending, who did not take his foot off the accelerator and drove us into the dread trajectory we are facing now. Sure, you've got a government doing something about it. Sure, it's a shock to the system. But I speak on behalf of many people living on the breadline who appreciate this isn't easy and it is going to be tough. And I know people are doing it tough out there, but the alternative to do nothing, we cannot contemplate. To accuse us of intergenerational welfare, I think, is an appalling comment, given that is precisely what Wayne Swan brought upon Australia by spending out of control. Moving to work for the Dole, 700,000 Australians, it's an enormous figure, under the age of 30, receiving income replacement of various forms that aren't studying or training. These people are asking for a chance to engage the real economy. These people are saying, we've had enough of Xbox, sitting at home, being part of the informal economy, or walking the dog. These people need to be able to find a chance to get out of that cycle and being able to access work for the Dole, not just in government agencies with a publicly funded supervisor, but to be able to work in a real job in the private sector is what they're asking for. And that's why yesterday I called on the government to contemplate broadening this base of work for the Dole opportunities for people so they can actually work shoulder to shoulder in small business with people who actually have a job, with a real boss, and getting the skills you need to one day enter the economy and not spend your life on welfare.
Mr. Fleming, how do you see PIFO? Is it a best estimate or is it a true state of the budget?
I'd say it's as true as you can get. Look, in the end, these are all projections, but they're better than probably any other source of financial information that we have.
You're right. Scott Morrison not quite on the same page on that?
Oh, well, we'll wait and see.
Your idea about work for the Dole, I mean, that's essentially providing free labour to small businesses. I mean, what about those who are, those particularly scrupulous? I mean, sure, there'll be people exploited under that proposal, wouldn't there?
There shouldn't be any exploitation if it's properly supervised, like any program. I mean, let's remember that business pays around $80 billion of tax to run the system that pays the welfare for people to stay, off the breadline. I see no problem with people getting out of bed and going to work like everyone else. And business, if they can train someone up and give them self-esteem, confidence and skills to make them more employable, then again they're delivering a service to the economy.
Is that going to drive down wages at all?
Well, it won't, because you're actually receiving an extra worker. You're not allowed to reduce your current workforce or payroll while you have a worker without losing the work for the Dole placement. And that work for the Dole person would work for their normal award wage until they had earned their welfare payment of $502 per fortnight.
How do you think the government would react? Given we've got Chris McLean behind us here at the moment. What was the reaction to the government to your plan?
I think there's interest in the plan, and there's a realisation that within 12 months we could have 360,000 young Australians with an activity requirement, and we know they can't be soaked up by the NGO sector.
So they're better consider it, you think?
Well, I hope they're considering it. That's how this building works.
What was the reaction of the party room yesterday?
Enthusiastic. Not quite standing ovation, but close. Thanks very much.